All right, we are back after the election. All right,
yes, we are.
Hey, this is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review, where we come to you live, streaming from Mott Branch Library. What we're going to do right now is click on our intro video. We'll come back. That gives you a chance to like, share, and comment. This is the CSRN podcast weekend review. We'll be right back.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, the other thing that we've got to come to see now that many of us didn't see too well during the last 10 years, that is that racism
not guilty
is still alive in American society and much more widespread.
Broke his neck after Baltimore police.
A handful of protesters, a handful of criminals and thugs who...
Many in moments of anger, many in moments of deep bitterness, engage in riots. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
Mr. Gray's death was a homicide.
The Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery.
The athletes marched onto a stage.
But at the same time, the nation refused to give him land to make that freedom meaningful. Freedom without land to cultivate. Freedom and famine at the same time.
And create jobs for our people.
Negro is to be free. He must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful. Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world with the exception of 9. That's power right there if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base. And at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country. Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right. We come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. And our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
They're gonna take that. Oh yeah, they took the little thing off. Hey, listen, this is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review, and I'm hoping that our signal is strong. We're streaming live from Mott Branch Library, so if you're encountering any interference or any trouble. Hey, we voted for the levy, so they should have a good signal.
Difficulties.
Right. So shout out to Mont Brent's Library, Black and Green Carpet. Every week we come to the. Let's get into some election introductions. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I'm one of the callers of CSRN, along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bey, and also an active and registered member of the Nation of Islam here in Toledo. And shout out to all of the brothers and sisters at Muhammad. I don't get a chance to shout them enough, but hey, you know, that's what I'm wearing today. Today I've got on my black and purple. I've got my purple. This is from I've got my gray, blue. So if you see my sister Chris, I put out and in the van, and she did. She has from she's on my emails, and as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all the bodies, no matter the game, injustice or else, and we're doing it. Culture, making sure that we have a space to say what needs to be said. We're not bad. It is what it is. Finish the intros. We'll keep it moving.
What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child, this wonderful organization, and I guess you could and believe in activism of all sorts. It also is a very crucial part to be involved in the arts, and that's kind of why I take over in all the genres, from books and artwork to performing and reading, and in even somewhat of the technological social media side. I don't do X or whatever that is, but anyway, for those of you listening out there, we thank you for coming back each and every single week, minus technical difficulties and all that stuff. If you have anything that you do notice during our podcast, you're more than welcome to leave it in the comments. Not so much streaming on YouTube, because we don't visually see that one, but we can visually see our Facebook Live.
That's right.
And we'll go back to the page, like if you leave us a comment there. Thank you again for allowing us to describe ourselves. A lot of podcasting stuff or shows that you may be listening to, you may not know what they actually look like or go through.
That's right.
And that is the reason why we describe what we look like. So, you know, it's not just a message coming across your screen or the airwaves, because we are on Spotify where you can't see us. So I am a big brown bear of a man that is covered in tattoos and crystals and stones and bones from doing this life of finding people while meeting myself, trying to speak to those who may seem that they don't have a voice or the right places to go. And through that, they come with me. They sit around my neck and in my pockets and on my wrist and even in my tattoos. So I am never alone, and I will never forget those moments that we got to spend together. Wearing a shirt with 2 pockets on it, my hat. Leona has come back, the owl.
All right.
Since it is hoodie season and all that good stuff. The shirt that I'm wearing is from one of probably the first one I went to, the 14th African American Festival. And then, you know, this year, of course, I was honored and everything. So it's been a beautiful year for me, full of trials, tribulations, ups and downs. We are not going to be talking the entire show or even lengthily about the election, but we understand your pain and those out there, whatever side you're on, is going through, because you put so much time, energy, and trust into these people who are campaigning, and then when it's over, it's kind of over. So
and it is,
what to do with all those emotions and the articles you read and stuff like that. So that's about it for me to say on what's going on now. How do you get to this point? We are approaching our 10 years, actually.
Oh, this month.
Yes,
is this month? Okay.
We might have a show. Well, no, it's November 25th, so we won't be here. But 10 years is a decade of a long time of meeting people from all walks of life. What you see in our background today represents some of those people. One of those people we met as in Barbie.
Yeah, Barbie Huffman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who did a whole bunch of artwork based on, I guess you could say, the riots of 2020.
Well, I like to call it an uprising. All right.
The uprising
Yeah,
of 2020.
uprising.
Something that probably won't happen again in this generation to speak of, because lots of things have happened. But how do you get to that point? How do you shift and minutia through people you may not like, you may like, that
That's right.
serve some purposes in the community, but other areas you don't mess with them at? You have to learn that minutia of stuff. Not everything needs to be said. Not everything needs to be thrown under the bus and make your community better. So we have a mission statement
and our guiding principles,
which is like the walls and foundation of what we do, what we believe in, what we plan to pass down to our legacies that will continue this going. And eventually we'll be up there with the NAACP and SNCC and all that stuff to be remembered in history books.
I don't know why I said up there, like we ain't there. All right. Like we ain't. All right, I get it.
On
Okay.
the shoulders of giants who spoke out long before we even knew a twinkle.
Let me get back to my humble self. All right.
I mean, it may not be the same right now, but anyway, we are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police impunity, police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often, police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educator, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I forget y'all can see my hands back here and stuff. That's what I do when I'm comfortable with words.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, you always having words, so you must be always uncomfortable. But you know what? I want to get to our guiding principles, and then we're going to bring on our guests right after the break.
In the green room drinking all the Vernors.
I know, man. We're going to have to stop restocking it. All right. And before I do this, I want to give a shout out to a sister named Fonda Royster.
She just had the brick break. Was that her? I'm sure. No.
I think so. And she works for or works with Open Arms Community Center, and she does a lot in the human trafficking area and talking about the abuse that happens to young women and young boys at the hands of perpetrators, adult males and adult women. And that's a subject that we normally sweep under the rug. We don't talk about. And I'm glad that she's lifting her voice up and letting that be known. And hopefully we'll be able to do something with Fonda in the near future. I've been seeing her on the news. I've been seeing her in the media, in the paper,
in the studio.
Right. She was right. And she's one of the good ones. This is our guiding principles. All Black lives matter. Queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, wealthy Black lives, differently able Black lives, Black men and women lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black lives matter and are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe.
Ashe.
And Ashe means one who changes a thing or one who makes a thing happen. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe.
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe.
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe.
Ashe.
Principal struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe.
Ashe.
Love. Self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe.
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe.
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe.
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe.
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe.
Ashe.
Before we take a short break, I also want to shout out Deidre Brown. I remember Deidre, and she wanted to start, I think it was the David Davis Youth Program. And man, Deidre comes from the street.
A lot, let's say a lot.
And I remember mentoring some of the people that she was associating with maybe in the early 90s. And it's remarkable to see where she's come from, and the NAACP at their Freedom Banquet acknowledged her. And a shout out to the NAACP, because most organizations only shout out those who they get down with
or fluent in the community.
Yeah, and Deidre is fluent, maybe not the influent that some of those others like to lift up. But shout out to Deidre. I'll give her a call today and just say, hey, I didn't want to send you a text or put it on Facebook. I wanted to call you.
Yeah.
Hey,
she's been a part of many things, like with Hoodstock and youth programs in the city and the Arts Commission and a lot of stuff. You'll probably find her in a lot of my photos I've taken of community events as well.
All right. Hey, listen, let's take a short break and come back. This is the CSRN podcast, or Week in Review. We'll be right back.
Did you know addiction is a disease, not a moral dilemma? The opioid epidemic and substance use have a major impact on communities of color and many people's lives. Wasion Wellness Recovery Support Center offers culturally relevant inpatient and outpatient behavioral health treatment and recovery support services to any Ohioan struggling with addiction, mental health, or finding sober-safe housing. We must recognize that treatment is available and accessible to all. If you are in need of treatment or want to find out more information, you can call 1-888-728-2713 to talk to someone or schedule an appointment.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. We just saw our Final Call commercial, and if you see me out with the Final Call, pick up this edition right here. we've got a special edition, and on the cover is the incomparable Quincy Jones. So during Kwanzaa, whenever we talk about some of those heroes and sheroes that are now ancestors, we'll say Quincy Jones and we'll say Ashe for the fine work that he's done over the years. All right. It's that post-election thing. A lot of us are uneasy. Oh, I mean, maybe not you and I, but a lot of us are uneasy.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we balance back? Well, we got one of the experts in the green room. All right, we're going to bring our sister Anika up right now. How you feeling today?
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
All right, that's an awesome background you got there.
Well, thank you.
Anika, we're talking about post-election stuff and trying to recenter. So as always, we're going to go back to our CSRN tradition of who you are, what are you wearing, and what are we talking about today?
All right. Well, my name is Anika Fields, and I am part of the CSRN family. Happy to join you guys again tonight.
That's right.
And, I am wearing a hunter green blouse and gray slacks. And what I'm here to talk about today is the benefits of practicing gratitude, and in particular, gratitude journaling. And it is because of coming off of this long week for some of us. It was devastating. For others, it was some were indifferent, some were devastated, some were excited about the changes. But either way it goes, we've been through this before. We go through this every 4 years. So what we do have control over is how we show up, how we respond, and how we take care of ourselves.
All right. So what are some of those ways? And really, how did you come across gratitude, recentering yourself, balancing? When did that happen to you that you found out some of these things?
So that's a great question. And just like a lot of folks out there, I was affected by not only the things that happen in everyday life and social justice issues or social injustices, we'll say, with myself, with others in our community and around our world, but COVID as well. All that piled on top of each other. And if anybody had to homeschool a child during that time, we had to learn, develop, or lean on a set of skills that we had to kind of come up with, and we had to come up with very quickly. That's how gratitude, the practice of gratitude journaling particularly came up for me. So I had to, the toughest job of my life that I was fired from 10 times by a 9-year-old kid, told me I'd never be a teacher. I said, okay. But he was stressed. I was stressed. I was particularly experiencing some issues with anxiety because of the unknown. And so I heard about, folks who would journal, and I had this image in my mind of, yogis and people who sit with sheep and do all that stuff. And I'm like, nah, I grew up in the central city of Toledo. That's not me. However, I'm a data person. And so I said, okay, gotta find something. Let me check out this journaling thing. And so I stumbled upon some research that talked about the benefits of journaling, and I'm going to touch upon those in just a little bit here. But it was enough of a push to make me say, okay, what have I got to lose? Let me try it. And lo and behold, when I did try it, I actually noticed a difference with myself. I actually noticed
that's awesome.
It is one of the it's a coping skill that I personally feel is underrated because it's accessible to everybody. It is free. It doesn't matter where you are in life. It doesn't matter how many resources you have or don't have. The practice of gratitude can absolutely change your life. And so, what I mean by the practice of gratitude. So, one of the benefits of gratitude journaling, and I'll kind of bring this all together here, is improving your not only your mental health, but your physical health. And so, a particular study done out at UCLA, the Mindfulness Awareness Research Center,
all right,
they followed a group of people who wrote down 3 things each day that they were grateful for. And, they took measures of their vitals, like their blood pressure, they tracked their sleeping habits and all this. And a fascinating thing happened in that what they found were a lot of benefits. One of the most compelling to me was that the group's blood pressure reduced by 10%. They decreased their levels of stress and anxiety, and this is what their body was measuring as well, with different vital signs, and even their blood and how their blood cells were reacting to the stress that they were dealing with. And they even found that there was an improvement in sleep, meaning the duration of sleep. People were sleeping longer, people were taking less time to fall asleep, and they were just reporting an overall boost in self-esteem and self-confidence. And
right.
So that's another benefit, the improvements in mental health, stress and depression symptoms, the improvements in your physical health, blood pressure reduction, even experiencing fewer physical aches and pains were actually reported in not just this one study, but a myriad of studies. Another thing that practicing gratitude journaling does is it strengthens relationships. And it improves our emotional resiliency. So in terms of improving relationships or strengthening relationships, what gratitude does is it can foster like an appreciation for people in our lives. We acknowledge each other, our contributions, and it just encourages kindness. It deepens our connections. And it's really an amazing thing to actually go through experience. And in terms of emotional resilience, building resilience, basically practicing gratitude, writing down 3 things per day you're grateful for, helps it become easier for you to handle challenges because you're shifting your mindset.
Right.
A habit of looking for the positives even in difficult situations. And I found myself doing that more and more as I started practicing gratitude. And I, even to this day, find myself when I look at a situation now, I can find something positive. And it's almost natural now because, I'm rewiring my brain to reframe negative thoughts, to look at things in a different light. And it just makes it easier over a period of time to handle. So, one of the things that I am doing, and one of the things my daughter Alea and I have done, is wrote a journal called 30 Days of Gratitude. And it's a prompted journal that kind of helps guide people through the process of writing down 3 things that you're grateful for each day, looking at the things that you did well in the day, and looking at the things that you may like to improve upon, and kind of setting your intentions of what you would like to see in your life. And the reason we chose 30 days of gratitude is because, again, research has proven in order to create a habit, number 30 is pretty significant. So you get up and you do something 30 times or 30 days in a row, it really, really helps to rewire your brain to make that a habit. And so it motivated me to want to share what we learned because of the impact. And I was a big skeptic. I wasn't going to write things down again.
Right.
I didn't want people reading and seeing what I was thinking or anything like that. So, but the benefits far outweigh anything that you might think of when it comes to just writing those things down, and then the proof, and then just kind of seeing how you shift your mind frame. So we are challenging everybody for the next 30 days to write down 3 things that you are grateful for. And you can do it in the morning, you can do it at nighttime, You can do it. You can order one of our journals. We have them on Amazon. You can use a spiral notebook. You can use the back of an envelope. The point is just to write it down, create that habit, and track and see from the beginning how you're feeling versus how you're feeling up and through those 30 days, and just see what type of changes in your emotions and your feelings and your sleep habits and the stressors and anxieties that you're dealing with. Because there's always going to be something, but
that's right.
thing that we can do, and that's one tool that we can use that can help us better handle those things and disappointments.
Well, I think that's it's great to use that now, especially we're about a week away from the last election.
Yep,
all right,
yep.
about a week away. So I'm sure there's people that's feeling some type of way, and I think that if a person is still stuck in last week and may want to move forward, this is one of the ways to move forward. Because Jody and I were talking about this earlier. And I said that, hey, listen, I'm not going to get into, the pointing fingers thing, all right, because we still got to live, all right? We've been doing this for 400 years here in America. I'm sure I saw that post there. We've been here for 400 years, all right? As those who were brought here in the hulls of slave ships, we were here thousands of years, all right, before then. So I'm sure we'll struggle out for these 4 years, and when the silly season comes around again,
it'll be over and done with.
We'll be over. But I'm glad that you're on, because regardless what happens on that stage of things, we still got to be with ourselves.
This is true.
So how are you going to be with yourself better? Whoever you wanted to vote for, it's a great chance they're not going to knock on my door and say, hey, Brother Washington, hey, thank you for voting. I didn't vote. No, I ain't say that. Thank you. What do you mean? What are you talking about? All right. They're not going to knock on my door and dap me up. It's going to have to be us that's going to take care of ourselves. And I got to agree that having those daily gratitude lists to go over reminds you that, hey, things are going good for you, even though they're not going good for somebody else. You still got something going for yourself. Were you going to jump in?
Yeah. In essence, that's what you need to be doing now.
Isn't it good? I'm cutting you off. Isn't it good having Anika here?
It is.
Hey, all right. That's what's up. All right. You may continue. Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Writing and getting things out off your mind, off your heart, off your soul is a very good practice. I mean, this is the month of giving thanks, regardless of all the capitalism and merchandising and turkeys and stuff. It's the end of the season, we harvest and all of that stuff. So this is something we should be doing on a daily practice. It doesn't need to have to be a traumatic event or awakening to happen. It's like you said, with 30 days, you gain muscle memory. Anything that you do, you'll either figure out at the end of the day, at end of the 30 days, that is something you enjoy or you don't. But if you don't even make it past day one, you will never know.
That's right. All right. So one of the things that we've incorporated whenever we have a guest now is we ask them for their 3 things that they're grateful for.
Yep. You can go back and watch old shows and see it.
Right. And subscribe when you watch that. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that anytime that we're having our podcast or CSRN is having anything else that we're streaming, they'll be notified. So, Anika, do we start with Jody first with those 3 things that he's grateful for? I think that's the way we normally do it.
I think we should rock, paper, scissors it. So
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
3. Okay.
I got rock.
I'm from the hood. I got a whole hand up.
I got scissors. All right.
That's rock.
Okay.
So it's on you.
Oh, I'm trying to cheat. I'm trying to cheat. I'm just like work. I try to pull the short straw. Hold on. I didn't know it was the short straw.
Tried to itch to figure out, like, it's a crumple paper.
It's a crumple paper. All right.
Yep.
Man, the three things that I'm grateful for is number one, Jody, and organizing with Jody. Jody gives me the opportunity to be much more than the brother Washington that everybody knows. Number two, my wife. Next week, Jody, we are going to celebrate 33 years. So November 16th. All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
33 whole years.
33.
Longer than some people have been alive.
Right. And lastly, my job, I work for Lyman Humidop, and we have a office in Wasion, Ohio. And I really think I probably have, man, I don't want to say the best job, because once they know that I'm not having a problem with where I am, they'll start changing things.
It's an extra work.
Yeah, once they realize that you like something, they'll say, hold on, we're going to move you somewhere else. But the city or village or town of Wasion, the people that I know there are great. The ones that I know are great. The community that I serve is great. And I'm really fortunate. So those are my three things. Jody was before my wife, so Yvette don't watch these. So
she's
she don't know.
Right now.
Oh,
so, get a call.
hell.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. It is what it is. All right. It wouldn't be anything different in 33 years.
She got some thumbs in the chat. So
all right.
When you get home.
All right. Okay. All right. You know what that's a sign for. All right. I'll be calling you. Can I stay over tonight, Jody? All right. So who's next? Those are my three things.
So I'll go next. My three things are: I am happy that this election season and the advertisement season of stuff is over.
Oh, yeah.
As an elected official, as an election official, it was interesting. It was the same circus it is every 4 years, but I got to see a lot of my neighbors, my community members, since that is my precinct, well, adjacent to the ward I am elected into. So it's nice to see everybody to come out and vote, and them remember me from having the staff or the crystals and stuff like that. So the second thing that I'm happy for is that this year is almost over and we can begin again.
That's right.
Whatever losses or triumphs we had, we get a clean slate to say, first quarter, I'm doing better or whatever it is, because it doesn't mean that you are falling behind or doing worse because you are somewhere or even just still. You're still alive. So my third thing would be happy for my family. Extended and otherwise, from arts to entertainment to my blood family to people that just notice me and will tap me on my shoulder.
That's right.
They know I have headphones on outside.
Yeah, true that.
Who is you about to? Oh, hey family, how's you? So those are the three things I'm happy for right now.
All right. So let's focus on Anika. All right, Anika, you are the Empowerment Toolbox lady. What about you? Those three things that you're grateful for.
Well, thank you guys for sharing what you are grateful for. It's always nice to hear what other people are grateful for as well, in addition to writing it down or writing down what you're grateful for. But I, number one, am grateful for the freedom that I have. Just to be able to come and go as I please. And, when you're ready to move, you can move for the most part. And I'm not restrained as I could be in another place and another time. So I'm grateful for the freedom that I do have. I'm grateful for my family. Everybody, all my family, my family, and what I like to say, my fixed kin family as well. And Brother Washington always smiles when I say my fixed kin family, because he's my fixed kin cousin, and Jody's my fixed kin brother, and all that good stuff. So, and I'm grateful as well for my, even though I included that in family, I want to say I'm grateful for my CSRN family.
That's
right.
Don't
have enough time for me to say, the whole history behind everything, but let's just say all the people over years that have brought encouragement, who have supported my family and I in any way through any season. We are really grateful for that. And I don't know that you guys will ever know how much that means, but I'm going to stop because I don't want my eyeballs to start sweating.
All right.
So, but I'm super grateful for everybody that's had any hand in at any point in time in any season with CSRN for really supporting myself and my family. So those are the three. Did I say three things? Yes, those are the three things that I am grateful for today.
Awesome. It looks like I'm getting some phone calls coming in regarding the Empowerment Toolbox. Anika, can we count on having you back to share more about being mindful, how to recenter, and how to cope in this time that we're living in?
Absolutely. Absolutely. These approaches have really made such a significant impact in my life that not only is it part of my day job, but I really love to share different strategies and techniques and things that we can do, especially in our community, because not everybody believes in seeing a therapist. Not everybody has the resources to see a therapist. But guess what? Saying three things you're grateful for, or writing down three things that you're grateful for, or thinking about it, that is something that is truly accessible by almost everyone.
That's awesome. Hey, we're going to take a short break and we're going to come back. Thank you so much, Anika. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. We'll be right back.
Canal.
En esta hermosísima ciudad de Orlando.
I'm here in Barranquilla, Colombia, and in sunny Miami. Daytona Beach, mis amigos, that's where we're at today.
Desde la ciudad de Cartagena, Colombia.
We are in Orlando right now, here in Florida.
I'm Helene Sheets, Director of Marketing and Communications at beautiful Lourdes University, and we've been a proud sponsor and supporter of Voces Latinas TV for over a decade. It has been a fantastic partnership. It's been our doorway into the Latino community. We've met so many incredible people, created so many partnerships. Our students absolutely love the connections we've made through Voces Latinas TV, and we're looking forward to at least another decade, 2 decades.
Incorporated Brothers United program believes that children are important. Every day we support and advocate for fathers because when children have involved fathers, the whole community thrives. The fathers that come into the Brothers United program are mostly young fathers who are primarily gang members or drug dealers or those involved in lots of trauma from the time when they were youth until now. The program has fatherhood classes, which teach you about your role as a father, the importance of being a father, healthy relationships, how to co-parent and work better together with your co-parent, and then economic stability, how to get a job, how to keep a job. It is so important for fathers to learn to take care of their children holistically, not just emotionally, not just physically, but financially as well, because children need a holistic approach.
I really just needed help with really being a better father and looking for a job to be able to support my kids.
Some of the problems I was facing when I joined Brothers United was communication with my children. Had some time apart from each other for a while, so they gave me the tools to really get back in communication with them.
Fathers will come into our program with their heads down. 2 weeks later, their heads are up. 3 weeks later, they're laughing and talking. 4 weeks later, they're building a bond. And by the time we get to 8 weeks, they're saying, hey, we want to stay here. What can we do to stay connected?
It gave me a better perspective on how to look at things from other people's point of view. You know, sometimes us as men, we get caught up in being prideful and arrogant, thinking we don't need the help. We do. And we just have to put our pride, selfishness, and arrogance to the side. And when the help is there, take it.
Hope plays the most important role in everything that we do, because we have to have hope. We have to remember that fathers are important, and we have to not only say it, but we have to live it, we have to breathe it, we have to do it, we have to convey it to everyone.
Let's get a BU Nation on 3, fellas. 1, 2, 3. BU Nation!
The dads give us hope. The dads supply for us on the days when it gets hard. On the days when we've seen more violence than we ever want to see. On the days when we've lost some dads to jail or to murder, they give us hope. And so the hope that lives can change, if you invest in them, if you believe in them, then lives can change.
Brothers United changed my life, I would say, because of where I come from, what I've been through. I learned to understand it is help out there. Don't be scared to ask for it. If you don't reach, you can't grab. That's it.
They made me more employable, more desirable by employers, which in turn helped me provide for my family and provide for my children and my grandchild. So it makes me a better man, a better father, and a better example.
It showed me like how to be better to my kids, so I went and got custody of my son. My son been with me for a couple months now. So this showed me how to be a better parent all around, just a better man, period.
Initially, I didn't know that it could change men's lives. I didn't know that fathers could change. But it's amazing to me when fathers come back a year later, 2 years later, and tell us thank you. Or they'll make a Facebook post and say, look at what I'm doing now. It's amazing to me about the level of work that we've been able to do and the lives that we've changed in just a short period of time. And the fathers who come back and say, thank you, I needed you, and you were there.
Shout out to Brothers United, man. Be you.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review, where we come to you live from Mott Branch Library. We talk about the things that we've done last week, which was all the election stuff. All right. Some of the things that we're doing this week, which is we just had Anika Fields on. She does the Empowerment Toolbox, where we talk about how some coping skills, gratefulness, mindfulness, how to reset. And I think that's something, a skill set that a lot of us definitely need. I don't know if the camera has you way over that way and me way up. Hey, it don't matter.
I just keep putting my mic in front of Leona.
Yeah,
I keep trying to figure out what's the best camera.
I don't know.
Super Bowl delay.
I don't know. I have no idea what's going on here. I wanted to give out, before we go into some shout outs and community concerns and talk about some of the things that are coming up in the community, I wanted to, I've already shout out Fonda Royster. I shout out Deidre Brown, and I want to shout out somebody else. His name is Brian Hayward. think it's senior.
Mm-hmm.
Is it senior?
Insurance agent.
And
some other stuff.
American Family Insurance. All right. That's $20,000 we just earned right there. All right. They better respect me. Hey, listen, if you have any insurance needs, we want you to call our brother Brian Hayward. Just look him up on Facebook. He has all of the insurance products. I got a chance to talk to him earlier this week just to chop it up with him. He's a dynamite brother. Outside of that, and the anniversary for CSRN is coming up this month. My anniversary is coming up this month. We're doing some awesome stuff in the community. Jody, if you could talk about some of the things that you've been a part of and some of the things you think people need to know that's happening in Toledo and the tri-state area or Northwest Ohio. And then we'll wrap up with some loose ends, pay some bills, and we're going to be out of here.
Yep, with 5 minutes of heat. So, I don't know, as the year is winding down, of course, last week was election week. So last Tuesday, we were doing the polls as our civil duty, getting sworn in, doing all that stuff. But there was all kinds of things happening. So I think I tried to catch you guys up with some of the stuff, but I'm going to go back to, let's see, Thursday, November 7th. There was the Brick by Brick Gala, what we were mentioning about with Fonda and everything at the premiere. Thursday, November 7th, Toledo Streets Scenes had an event at the Portal Toledo School for the Arts. On November 7th, there was the comedy night at Toll House with Cool Keith, the person that does the Bike Rides Matters and a whole bunch of other stuff. Friday, November 8th was the first of its kind. I did not place, but thank you to all 11 contestants, the ASL interpreters, the other artists that came with typewriters and words on feathers, the volunteers that helped out make sure everybody was parking, the host, K. Renee, and all of the judges that judged. One of them I'll actually be performing with this Sunday coming up at the Code for a artist sip and paint with poetry. So that was awesome. The Art Loop Poetry Slam. Shout out to, in fact, Liv Hightower, Latoya Williams, and Victoria. I cannot remember the last name, but I did have made a couple separate posts.
All right.
All of the photographers and stuff. It was really a beautiful slam. I was glad to be a part of it. And thank you, everybody that was part of it. Also, Friday night, there was the Glow Jam Party at 710 South Reynolds. Saturday, November 9th, there was the local authors workshop, Writing to Heal, by the 577 Foundation. Saturday, November 9th, there was Uncloistered Poetry live at the Attic. Shout out to everybody that was able to show up there. Saturday, that is a private birthday party that a friend of mine had.
What? So we're not going to. All right.
But
okay.
Sunday,
all right.
There was the Uncloistered Poetry online November 10th. That's done virtually through Zoom and everything like that. Shout out to ToledoPoets.com.
Yeah.
And everybody involved in the art community that did not let last week or however you feel influence what they had to say this week.
That's what's up.
That is one thing I was also kind of wary of taking the stage and stuff. I was like, oh, crap, it's going to be one of those pieces about stuff and people that I want to hear about you. And everybody came with the poem about you.
Good.
Whether
That's good.
Was about the Black experience or hungry for some milk.
That's good.
I'm afraid they got the video and stuff. It was nice. I think segueing into that before I go on to the stuff that's possibly that you may want to make it to this week is I'm glad everybody, maybe it was the 4 years of stuff that it's a lot less. We didn't use the word right. What was that word? Uprising. For the moment, we shall see next month after next, how that goes on the dreaded January 6th date. But for right now, I think you should focus on you. Focus on now you don't have to get phone calls and emails and all of that stuff.
No more Sherrod Brown
Nothing
political ads
at all for a moment.
Yeah, that's
for the
right.
next 4 years. If your opponents won, if they didn't, if you went out and voted, thank you. That's my biggest thing. I don't care what party, what color, what ideologies you might have voted for in the end, because that is you. At least use your voice. And we had a line from 5:35 until 7:20 of people that did not get out to early vote, that wanted to make sure their voices were heard. And that is what this country is about. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, we passed levies, we threw out levies, we put people in office, we took people out of office. And hopefully it does the better for your community.
All right. Are we ready for 5 minutes of heat?
Just about. So upcoming things today, if you did or did not make it, there was the zoning and planning committee meeting at One Government Center with City Council.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow, there is the live lounge concert somewhere in Toledo, Ohio. I'll be putting it on my page for better stuff, but it's coming up in my thing. There's a live art auction. That is O'Shea. I met him a couple of times this year doing art and everything. Live tomorrow at 8. Wednesday, there is an Irie Open Jam with Houston, I might be pronouncing your name wrong, Jackson at 3560 Door Street, Toledo, Ohio. This Thursday, if you have noticed any of the changes in the TARTA transportation since October, Thursday, we are going to have a forum at the Glass City Center, the new one on the east side that they have been using for a lot of stuff, because, you know, we got to make sure them tax dollars for multi-million-dollar buildings get used. But that's going to be Thursday. I'll be there. I'll be speaking on my precinct and or ward and some of the recent changes that have happened to the 14 line, not only using my head as an activist, but as a advisory committee board. And when it came down, I was like, oh no. So hopefully I'll see some community members from the east side there or any other routes to talk to them, because this is how we speak to them. Getting on social media and saying, I don't like this, is not going to work. Come to their board meetings, tell them what you want to have changed. And let's see, last couple of things coming up. This Saturday is the Subdermal Sessions 11 at the Switchboard at 8 o'clock. Humanity Against Hurricanes. There's 4 separate locations, so I suggest you go to the link. Shout out to Dee and everybody involved for Wheeling on the Rocks. There's, again, 4 separate locations. 2 of them are here in Toledo for hurricane relief. Hurricane Rave, I guess you could say.
Okay.
It would be one of them is Venue 18, which I've been there before. And lastly, I can see on the list of things that's going on this Sunday at the Code. If you've gotten your tickets, I believe there might be some more. Me, Darius Simpson, and One Single Rose will be performing at the Friendsgiving, Thanksgiving Sip and Paint, trying to get out the full thing. There it is, by a good friend of the show, Sunkiss Ra, and Respect Your Crown and everything like that. It is an entry fee of $20 for early bird. So you might have missed that already, but I can't be for sure. Go to our Eventbrite and check it out. And $25 per person at the door. So you might get the door and we'll have painting and it's going to be a good time.
Oh, you know what? I wanted to mention, I'm looking at the, let's see, what is this group? What is this group? I think the, man, I'm trying to get this right. The, American Muslims for Palestine. There is they have a protest awareness activity this Thursday coming up. That's the 14th from 4:30 to 5:30. That's a Sylvania and King. And if you want to join them, log on to CSRN of Toledo Private. That's another Facebook page that we created earlier. It's not a private page, just asked to be approved, and you can post some of your activist work that you're doing in the community, and you can also see some of the things that's also happening in the community. So that's Thursday, 11/14, 4:30 to 5:30, Sylvania and King. And I want to just start mentioning that even more. And also the American Muslims for Palestine, they also have their weekly schedule of all of the protest activity that's happening regarding what's happening in Palestine at the hands of the Israeli government and stay on point, stay up to date. And I think that may be it for me on that.
Okay.
That group's doing a lot. Great.
Yep. 2 podcasts, or actually 3, that I want to give a shout out to. Social media is actually acting kind of weird, but the Mud Talk, Toledo Mud Talk, or Mud Talk 419 show with Ty Cleveland and a whole bunch of other people. They have a awesome podcast going around. I think they hit show 50, or it was either 50 or 500.
All right,
I saw
that's what's
5.
up.
I couldn't see the number, but if it was 50, congratulations, and I hope you see 500.
That's what's up.
Also, shout out to Sylvia Starks.
Yeah,
I've been on her show before. We had a slight interview and everything like that. She runs her podcast every Thursday, along with another friend of mine, Deborah Sue, who does the Toledo to the World. So shout out to those podcasts in the city trying to get information out there and speak to artists and community members and everything like that.
All right. Hey, before we get to 5 minutes of heat, if you like what we do, we want you to subscribe, like, share, and comment on our page. And which page is that? That's the Community Solidarity Response Network. It's our Facebook page. Where is it at? I'm trying to bring it up. There you go. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. That way they mail us that thing in the mail. If you want the Black Lives Matter signs, we still have those on deck. Order the signs, $20 each. We have the Defund the Police signs, same, $20 each. Be the first on your neighborhood, on your street, to have a sign up on your lawn. And if you want to support what we do, you can like us on Instagram and Facebook, listen to us on Spotify, subscribe to our YouTube, and hopefully we're going to twist Jody's arm to start posting on. Okay, all right. And if you, okay, let me keep going.
Ruin that even
all
more.
right. If you want to support us via Cash App. That's CSRN 419 with the cash tag first. PayPal is CSRN 419. One more shout out to Anika Fields and the Empowerment Toolkit. All of her books regarding gratitude and some of the things that gratitude, having those moments of gratitude and journaling does. And if you want to support her, log on to Amazon. Amazon.com/author/Anika Fields. You can get that mother-daughter or mother-son journal and make some memories and make that happen.
Yep.
All right, Jody, I think that I wrapped up everything regarding the things that are coming up. And as we close out with 5 minutes of heat, it's remarkable how we use creative expression, rap, hip hop, and kind of blend it all in. And 5 minutes of heat derives from the song 5 Minutes of Funk by Houdini, who had quite a few hits, maybe a little bit before your time. But I'll think about all the hits that Houdini had. You know, I'm like, okay, that was a pretty good group. But one of the songs they had was 5 Minutes of Funk. We flipped it and created 5 minutes of heat, that whenever we have an event, before we close out, we just don't hit a gavel and say meeting is adjourned. We end with style, all right? And you have been our resident 5 minute of heat participant throughout the years. And so, Jody, what do you have for us today?
So today I have one of the pieces, and again, for me in performing, I never time myself. So I know some pieces go longer than what people, I don't know, consider traditional poetry or haikus. I'm a storyteller. I've based my career on that. I've gotten to travel the world. And, you know, when I'm on stage, none of those two stories are ever the same. There are slight changes in the way the words are repeated and all of that stuff. Because, you know, sometimes we go through life and try and make things too perfect. But I'm someone with trust issues, so I like the imperfections and things, the reality of this could not be real, or it could be, you know, anyway. So this piece is called Yes, I Have Trust Issues. I hope you receive it well. I'll be performing it this Sunday at the Code as part of that set. And my intro, since you haven't heard it in a couple weeks. I am an open book, yes, an open book to those that decide to read. 1,000 words, yes, 1,000 words to those who've only caught a glimpse of me. And a lifetime, yes, a lifetime to those that can say they were part of my story. If you are anywhere under the sound of my voice, you are now family. Because on this stage, yes, on this stage is where I give the most vulnerable parts of myself. And I hope, yes, I hope that you hear me. Let's begin. Peace. Yes, I have trust issues. If you are hearing this or reading this, you already know why we came here. Yes, I have trust issues, but I learned them somewhere along the middle. If you take offense to this and somehow, yes, somehow think that I am attacking you, you might want to look in the mirror, because we all believe the lie about someone or something at some point in time. And I'm just using mine to get what's off my mind. See, I have trust issues because every time, yes, every time I think that something's going right, there's always that little reminder in the back of my mind that this could go completely wrong. And somehow, yes, somehow I wasted my time on someone or something that I found precious. When in the end, it was really just another lesson of just not getting it right this time. See, I have trust issues because every time, yes, every time I try and pour this ocean of experience into someone else, they were really, yes, really just looking for a bottle of water, maybe to dip their toe in and see if there really was depth here. See, I have trust issues because the sky, yes, the sky is not actually blue. And growing up my entire childhood, I was told there was 9 planets, yes, 9 planets. But by the time I hit adulthood, there was only 8 to view. I have trust issues because every single fairy tale, folklore, childhood, bedtime story never came true, except for the trauma part. Stress, losing a parent or two, stress, trials, tribulations, and finally, yes, finally figuring out that it might not have been you. See, I have trust issues because I grew up listening about racism, prejudice, crooked politicians, and found out, yes, found out most of those people are just like me and you, who never got a chance to meet the opposition. So they just live on the fairy tale of this is what that statistical person looks like from outside view. I have trust issues because somewhere in the process of growing up and finding my purpose, I found out, yes, I found out most issues, yes, most issues start with you. Trusting too many things that someone or something is wrong if they don't think like you, when really the first person you're supposed to be able to trust is you. I have trust issues because I know that somewhere in the middle of me reciting this or you reading this, you might have blanked out for a moment or two. And that part that I stuck in the middle that was really important got glazed over because this might have been too long for you. And peace.
And as always, we snap our fingers. All right. And hopefully one day, one podcast, we'll talk to you about how does a poem start? Does it start from a thought? Does it start from a memory? And kind of build that up. So maybe those out there that may want to create for themselves, they can use what you say as a template.
Yeah. And there's some stuff coming up next year that I got some NDAs about, but I hopefully that you'll be able to come and bring your children to workshop with me.
All right. And as always, all lives can't matter until what? Black lives matter. And black lives can't matter until all black lives matter. Justice or else?
Yeah.
Peace.